Have you ever noticed this pattern? Things start to move in your life. You get the job you wanted, you begin earning more, maybe you enter a relationship that feels stable. Your business gains traction, or your health improves, you feel clearer, stronger, more aligned. Momentum builds, and for a moment, it feels real. This could actually work. And then something shifts. Not dramatically, but enough. You hesitate. You delay responding. You overthink a decision. You suddenly feel tired. You question whether this is right for you. You tell yourself you need more time, more clarity, more preparation. Or suddenly you just have fights in your relationship. Maybe suddenly you get crazy bills coming out of nowhere again. Suddenly your health feels weak. Suddenly you have problems in your relationship or in your business or at your work. And deep down, there is a quiet awareness that somehow, this has something to do with you, even if it's not conscious, even if circumstances look external. It's as if the moment life begins to expand, you subtly reduce your own momentum. You don't destroy your progress, you just soften it, lower the intensity, return to something manageable. If that feels familiar, this video is important because what you call self-sabotage is often something far more intelligent than you think. And we'll expand on that in this video, and I'll tell you exactly what Bach Flower Remedy to use for that. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a Bach Flower practitioner and vibrational healer, and I work with emotionally self-aware people who want to heal their inner world and improve their lives, of course using the beautiful Bach Flower remedies. And self-sabotage, especially the quiet, subtle kind, is just one of the most unrecognized patterns I see with my clients. So let's name this correctly. Most people think of self-sabotage as something like lack of discipline, fear of failure, laziness, inconsistency. But look at when it actually happens. It doesn't activate when things are falling apart. It activates when things are improving. When you are about to be seen more, when you are about to earn more, when you are about to commit more, when you are about to take up more space, define yourself more clearly. The trigger is not failure. The trigger is expansion. And expansion changes identity. So if you succeed, truly succeed, you are no longer the person who is trying. You become the person who is doing. And that shift can feel threatening because trying is safe, but arriving is exposure. So let's go a little bit deeper. There is usually a precise moment where something inside you registers. This is becoming real. This is becoming serious. This will require me to sustain it. And right after that moment, contraction appears. Why? Because, well, success creates visibility, it creates expectation, responsibility, consistency. And if somewhere in your emotional history visibility was unsafe, your nervous system will regulate you back down. It may look like sudden doubt or critical self-talk. Maybe unexpected exhaustion, distraction, conflict, perfectionism. But energetically, what's happening is this. You are reducing exposure. Before life can test you, you test yourself. Before others can judge you, you slightly withdraw. Self-sabotage is not destruction, it is preemptive protection. And very often this pattern begins early. Maybe you learned, don't get your hopes up, or don't think too highly of yourself. Don't outshine others. Stay modest. Don't attract too much attention. Money and success are bad. Or perhaps when you succeeded, something shifted in your environment. Maybe there was more pressure, more expectation, less emotional warmth, more jealousy, more responsibility. So your system learned staying in the middle is safe. Trying is also safe. Almost succeeding is still safe. But fully stepping into success, And that changes the dynamics. And change feels dangerous to the nervous system. So you regulate your own altitude. You rise and then gently lower yourself again. Not consciously, but consistently. And this is where it becomes subtle. Some people unconsciously identify as the learner, the improver, the one who is becoming. And there is a sort of a quiet dignity in striving. Striving doesn't threaten others. Striving doesn't demand authority. Striving doesn't require sustaining power. But succeeding does. Succeeding requires owning your place, tolerating being seen, holding stability, being consistent, allowing others to perceive you as capable. And if deep down you carry the assumption, I probably can't sustain this, you won't let yourself find out. You will interrupt the process before it solidifies. That's absolutely not laziness, that is identity protection. And of course, you can read all the productivity books. You can make schedules, you can set goals. But if the emotional assumption underneath is, this probably won't last, you will unconsciously confirm it because identity seeks familiarity. And this is why Bach Flower Remedies are so powerful here, because they work on the emotional assumption beneath behavior, not the surface pattern. They work on the root expectation. Bach Flower Remedies are natural drops made from wild flowers. They help us with difficult emotions like lack of confidence, fear, guilt, anger, or sadness. They don't work on our physical body, but they work energetically on our subtle body, our thoughts, emotions, behavioral patterns. And that's why they are safe and incredibly powerful. Now, the unexpected root here is assumed inadequacy. And the One Bach Flower Remedy that addresses that at its core is Larch. Larch is not just for self-confidence, it is for the quiet, almost invisible assumption others can and I probably can't. Not loudly per se, quietly. And large people are often very capable, insightful, intelligent, reflective. But before they act fully, there is a pause, a subtle shrinking. They don't leap completely because they don't assume they'll land. And if you don't believe you'll land fully, well, then you don't jump fully. You half commit, you half risk, you half believe. And then you wonder why life only half opens. Larch shifts the internal expectation, not into arrogance, but into permission. Permission to act without proof. Permission to succeed without rehearsing collapse. Permission to finish. On a deeper level, Larch is about claiming your right to exist without justification, to act before certainty, to move before guarantees. Self-sabotage is often an attempt to avoid destiny-level responsibility. That's why life doesn't flow. It's trying to get you back on track. Because stepping into your full capacity means you cannot pretend anymore. You cannot say, if I had tried. You must face what you are capable of. And that can feel terrifying. Larch softens the fear of discovering your own strength. So when Larch begins to work, you may notice that you hesitate less. You send the message sooner. You finish projects. You tolerate imperfection. You stop rehearsing failure. You feel less intimidated by opportunity. Not because fear suddenly just somehow disappears, but because you stop assuming collapse. And when that assumption softens, self-sabotage loses its purpose. If you're listening and thinking, this is me, I live in the almost, then you'll probably love my course Bloom into Balance. It's not practitioner training, it's for people who want to understand their own emotional patterns deeply and choose remedies accurately. Inside, I guide you step by step in making your personal remedy bottle that shift identity level patterns. I also have a lovely community. The Remedy Circle is open for free for a short time, and if you join now, you have lifelong free access. I also offer consultations if you want my one-on-one support. And what did I forget to say? Oh, I also have a free beginner's guide. All the links are in the description. So now if Larch resonates, how would you plan this? How would you go forward here? Super simple. Go to your local health store or check online. You type in Bach Flower Remedy Larch and you buy a 10 milliliter stock bottle of Bach Flower Remedy Larch. You take a bottle of still water, you put 2 drops of Larch in that bottle and simply sip it regularly throughout the day. You do this daily for at least 2 to 3 weeks or a bit longer, and you observe, where do I shrink? Where do I assume failure? Where do I stay in almost? And instead of asking, what if this doesn't work? Ask, what if I am allowed to succeed? And let Larch simply support that shift. If this video helped you, please leave a comment, even just a small "this is me." Maybe share it with someone who really needs it, who keeps stopping right before the breakthrough, or maybe put one of my playlists in the background, because those small actions help the channel grow more than you know, and it's completely free. Thank you so much for being here. I loved making this video, and I'll see you obviously in the next one.